Maybe you already knew that the manager is your most important work relationship, but in case you didn't, or if you think differently, let me give you my reasoning. As a PM, you should be thinking about expanding your scope, presumably, because you're trying to drive the business forward, right? You're trying to move the business forward. You're trying to get more users so you can deliver more results for the business, so you can grow the business, so you can repeat this process for both of those parties. The way that you increase your influence usually is with scope, is by taking on more features and product areas, eventually taking on more products, eventually launching new products, having bigger ownership, and depending on your career ambitions, you could even run entire product teams, orgs, even companies. The eventual career path for the product manager is CPO, CEO. So you can go all the way to a full leadership position. That is, in fact, the final career inflection point for a product manager. Start out a junior PM and a CEO. But the most important relationship is with your manager, because no one else is going to have quite as much influence on your career trajectory and scope unlock as your manager. So few people actually think about their manager relationship until they're actually on the job. They don't even know their manager. They're just starting the job and hoping that they get a good manager. So if you're still looking for a job, please, please, please make sure to interview your manager also. Don't just run into the next job without understanding who you're signing up to work with, because this person will influence 70% of your career success. And by the way, if you are a PM looking for a job, we help proactive experienced PMs like you. So use the link in the description to schedule a call with our team. So why is the relationship with your manager so important? It's usually because promotion is set up by the manager. Your manager has to support, sort of nominate you for promotion in most tech companies. If they didn't nominate you, they certainly have to support it. You're not going to get through a promotion if your manager doesn't say, yes, we should promote this person. From a scope perspective, you have to have a good relationship with your manager to understand how they're thinking about the org design. Presumably, your manager has other reports besides you, and you've divided the scope of work. You're covering a certain area, your colleague, product manager is covering another area, and all together, it encompasses your manager's scope of influence and scope of work. So your career progression is totally linked with your manager's career progression, because you can't really expand your scope often unless your manager also expands their scope. Sometimes you can, depending on how much leveling room there is between you and your manager, but often you have to think of promotion as if we are climbers on a mountain that are all connected together. We have to climb together. So your manager has to get a promotion in order for you to get a promotion. Sometimes your manager's manager, your skip, has to get a promotion in order for there to be room for scope in a lot of situations. The next reason why you need a relationship is because your performance reviews are largely determined by your manager. Your manager is the one who authors usually or compiles your performance review. Are you going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 out of 5 this quarter, this half year cycle, or this year? That's determined by your manager and the relationship that you have. It feels obvious, but again, a lot of people don't think about it, and a lot of people leave that alone and just kind of go with the flow. You have to be proactive about managing your career and bringing it up with your manager, and the same thing with your performance reviews. And the final thing is, of course, you got to pick your managers, because your sanity depends on your manager to a large degree. What kind of communication schedule did you agree to? Are you getting pings all the time and texts and emails at weird hours and evenings and weekends? Are you expected to reply to those? So your relationship with the manager will inform the way that your work-life balance actually ends up. So how do you build a great relationship with your manager? So assuming you can't pick your manager anymore because you stuck with them, you got them, you're already in your job, how do you actually improve your relationship? First thing you can do is, I'm assuming this is a manager that's actually worth working for and worth investing into a relationship. If they don't care about your career progression, if they don't care about you as a person, you might think about finding a new manager. Because honestly, due to the importance of this relationship, you want to invest that ultimately with people who will give you the same. Assuming this manager is worth the time and effort investment, think about the problems that they have. Think about the goals that they have. What does success look like for their roles? And try to prioritize those projects. The difference between you proactively giving an update about a project and what's happening and the manager asking you for an update is huge, because one is they have less to think about, and another one is they're checking in. So they're considering it part of their job to kind of micromanage you a little bit. Prioritize their requests. If they send you an email or a ping or a text, put them in a VIP automation so that you get it faster, you can respond faster. Ideally, again, be more proactive about this so they don't even have to ask. They know where to look to get an answer to some common questions that they have about certain projects or deliverables. The third thing you can do is you can manage other relationships in your org. You can maintain positive relationship with EngLead, with sales, with marketing, with legal, with policy, whoever you're with ops, with whoever you're talking to. And by having that relationship, you will make it simpler for your manager to do their job because they don't have to get involved in potentially resolving any conflicts or misunderstandings. So just by being a good, crisp communicator and maintaining relationships across the cross-functional group, you're doing your manager a big favor. You're giving them less problems to deal with. The third way to get a good relationship is by being the owner of your career in the relationship. Just by saying, hey, manager, I've created my promo doc. Can we review it together? I've reviewed the rubric for what the next level looks like, and I've kind of self-assessed myself, and I've gotten some information from my teammates to start the conversation with you. Same deal for projects. Hey, manager, for this project, I've already done some brainstorming. I've already done some pre-thinking so that when I show up to the call with us or to the review or to a group setting workshop, I already have done some pre-work. I'm not just starting to think about it on the call. I'm taking things from your plate so you have less to do. Another thing you can do is volunteer to organize the org a little bit. Let's say you have 5 or 6 people in your group that all report to this manager. Well, maybe you can help organize some sort of a team event. Or maybe you can take the lead on ordering some company t-shirts or team t-shirts or something like that. Or maybe you can take on a mentorship role with a new team member. Anything you can do to take on these team building responsibilities helps your manager because it's ultimately their job to manage the team and motivate the team and drive team cohesion. So if you can do that, you're doing some of their work. Notice I didn't say at any time you should compliment them or give them gifts or other wacky stuff like that. It's always utility based. It's how can you help them become more effective? How can you help them reach their goals? And how can you take on some of their responsibilities so that they can hopefully unblock themselves, maybe even build their career and then take you along with them. Those are some things you can do to build your relationship with your manager. But of course, the most important thing is picking the manager in the first place. And we'll do a separate video talking about the questions to ask your future manager and coworkers as you start a new role. And if you're looking for a new PM role right now, then you can click the link in the description below and schedule a call with our team to see if we can help you get your new role faster, more effectively, and hopefully with a higher paying offer. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.